Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 407. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Heyo.
And Tony Kokornakas.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers, to 407. I don't know what it is about this number. It's just not sticking with me. I don't know why. But yes, so welcome to the Moviecast. We have a interesting conversation piece tonight as our topic. We're going to do a versus. So look for this in the game as well. I think tonight we're doing Bond versus Bourne. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go for it.
We're going to do Bond versus
AYCG
Bourne.
versus.
It'll be fun. We don't really know what side we're all going to fall in on here. But
Death match.
I think I know where Mike's going. Well, it depends on what Bond we're talking about, right, Mike?
Well,
We'll get into it. We'll get into it later. It's not let's not unwrap that yet.
No. All right. Let's go into the box office first and talk about the number one movie is Mission Impossible Fallout at $35.4 million for the second
Speaking
week.
of like spy movies and things, I just want to throw that out there. I do enjoy this series a lot more than those other.
Did
But
anybody check this out?
I've not seen this yet.
No, Moviepass
No,
doesn't allow it yet. Maybe next week.
This is you guys. Well, I'll get into this in a second because I did go and see this.
Yay!
In fact, you got to hear this. So wait, I'm going to make this statement, and I want to see your reactions here. So I saw Mission Impossible, and I got the Big D experience.
The Big
Wow.
D.
That's what I thought. That's it. So we went to get tickets. I was way out of town. I was in Western Pennsylvania by Pittsburgh, and this theater was an AMC Classic. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm looking at like listings, and the guy it says like the Big D, and I'm like, the hell is this? So
She said.
So I clicked on it. It was like $10 to see a movie out there, by the way. $10.19 is what it costs to go see a movie. So I used my pass, but I'm like, this is kind of like not getting my value, but whatever. So
Well, you're not gonna spend $10
I'm not maximizing my
on top.
value.
apparently
Let me
it's
spend $10 on top of my 20.
apparently it's just like IMAX. It's like a big it's like a supersized screen with leather seats, like really comfy seats, and big speakers. They were not recliner seats, but they're very comfy. But it was so funny to get there and like you see the Big D experience, and it's and I was like, what is the Big D to the one guy at the register? And he laughs and he's like, oh no, he's like, it's not 3D. I'm like, that's all right. That wasn't I was thinking, but okay. So I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Dirty mind, Jim.
Yeah, I know. But when you see the Big D experience, you're like, what is going to happen at this movie? But yeah, the movie theater was actually pretty empty, which was fun. There was 4 of us in the theater to watch this movie, and brand new theater it looked like. It looked brand new in the area, and really, actually really nice. So for $10, if you live out in Altoona, PA, go to that
Wait,
theater.
what's
$10. That's the reason.
Yeah, head on out there. It's Altoona, PA. It was nice, beautiful.
There's nothing to do out there.
No.
There's nothing to do.
No,
out
when we
there.
got out
Why
of the
would
movie-
you go there?
Well, because we were 12 minutes from there. We were staying in a bed and breakfast in the area. It's just it's a relaxing weekend for with my brother's friends. We've been doing it for like years. It's like the last vacation we do for the summer before we all go back to work. So like they're all teachers, so this is like their last hurrah. They go out and hang out, and so that's what we were doing. But I was like, it's raining like crazy here, and I even said this on the podcast last week. I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I got this free movie ticket. I might as well go see this movie. And then a couple of guys were like, I kind of want to go see this too. So it worked out. We kind of all went and checked it out. But I'll talk about that in a second. Second movie, I just want to mention the Big D experience because I got the Big D experience from AMC.
haven't we all?
Yes.
No, not here.
Number 2 movie in the country last weekend was Christopher Robin, $24.7 million. Mixed reviews on this thing, even though it says mostly fresh on here. I've read a lot of. It's not high fresh. How about that? It's not high fresh. It's yeah, you know what I mean. If you're gonna look at a Metascore, it's I don't know what's on Meta, but it's not strong movie. But I want to see it still. I know. I think did I give a point to this on our hyped? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think you did.
So what happened was Mission Impossible won out for me on this. So, and I still want to see Teen Titans, which is way down on this list. But The Spy Who Dumped Me is at 3, Mamma Mia at 4, and Equalizer 2 at 5. So that's your list. The Meg opening this week, Jason Statham movie.
Looks like a Deep Blue Sea type of like super shark thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like stupid fun. That's kind of
definitely does. All right, so that's your box office. Let's get into some news. We got a lot of news to go through here, so let's get started. The Halo TV series we talked about a couple weeks ago will be. The question was for me was, will it focus on Master Chief? Yes, Master Chief will be the main character of this series because you never know with these things, right? Like they always like make these series and they don't make them about the main character from making stuff. It'll be its own story, not based on the games, and will be based on Master Chief as the main character though. So,
What era are we talking?
they don't know original content. So, original content with that character.
All right.
I don't know. Interesting. I obviously I like that character. I have fond memories of playing that game before it got bad. But I don't know. I've always been interested in what they can do for a TV series after the shorts we saw. Short stuff.
Is he a character though?
What?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I feel like 'cause you hear his voice, you never see him, but
Yeah,
he's just
that's true.
generic Space Marine. I think it's more interesting when the universe does explore that than necessarily Master Chief, because now like if they're gonna do a prequel, where he's going. I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of weird to do a prequel or a sequel, because like now if you play the game, I'm gonna end up in this area. It's like I don't know. It seems I'd actually rather not be Master Chief personally.
I would still, but I'm okay with this actually. I like I like a side story that if you try to base it on the game, that's where you get into the problems. Like I think if you do your own story with the
you
characters,
can do your own story, but now like where does it fit in the grand scheme of everything else you've experienced?
That's true, but we'll see.
Not to mention, he doesn't really talk that much in the games, right?
He's talked more. He's talked more recently.
In the more recent game,
Yeah.
I stopped after Reach. So.
He's talked much more in the last two games. So.
Well, he wasn't even really in 5, I thought.
No, well he was, but he talked a lot when you played as a minute. But it was probably half the game he was in. He was still half. It was 50-50. Let's see. John Favreau's Star Wars TV show. We got news on this today or yesterday. Will reportedly cost $100 million for 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
Yeah, so we're getting $10 million an episode for Disney streaming service.
Cool.
Yeah,
content.
If anyone can afford it.
Yes, based after Return of the Jedi, before The Force Awakens. That's the era.
Okay.
So we don't really know much yet. Rumors today I saw were that it was going to involve basically be Mandalore after the war, after Return of the Jedi. So the Mandalorians, which would be cool. That's a nice spot we haven't really gotten much of except for the Clone Wars. So it was in Rebels. It was in Rebels. Yeah, that's right. It was in Rebels. That's right. There's actually a lot. It was a lot in Rebels. That's right. Yeah. The Black Saber. So let's see what else we have. Moviepass. Tony, every week we get something new. It's new limitations. What's going on with this?
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
So you're only allowed to see 3 movies a month now.
Yeah.
But there's no overages that you were talking about?
There's no surge pricing, there's no ticket stub verification, and there's no
And it's $15?
No.
Cheaper.
Oh, no. Oh, it's the same?
It's remaining at 10.
Yeah.
So $10 a month, you could see 3 movies.
This
Okay.
movie
I mean, that's still pretty good value.
It's a great
Oh,
value.
and then no lockouts on the new features.
Okay.
Mm.
So,
new 2-week lockout.
yeah,
That's why I can't see Mission Impossible
they're
yet.
getting rid of it? Okay, good. That's a good thing, actually. 3 movies a month? That's
For $10,
fine.
that's,
Yeah.
You go
That's-
once and you paid for it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I just don't know that this company's going to be solvent soon. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I've said for the since the beginning of the year, as long as it gets me through the summer season, I'm okay.
You're going to make that, it looks like.
We're gonna make that. So
Yeah.
I mean, anything after this is just.
I mean, you've already gotten tons of value out of it.
It's true.
So
True.
I think it's the people that are joining now that may not necessarily get the same value.
My favorite, if I can have a favorite news of the week, is this news that I have right here. Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, is returning to Star Trek. I don't think I smiled more than anything after I was in the theater reading that. I was like, "What? No way!" When I saw that news break, it was pretty awesome. So that was excellent. They're going to set a new Star Trek TV series. It's not a reboot of like Enterprise or Next Generation or whatever the hell it is. It's going to be something new for him. Actually, he'll be playing Jean-Luc Picard, but not on the Enterprise apparently. So for those,
It's amazing. Like he was old back then. I mean, he's not the brightest guy out there. So
what's funny is like I remember them aging him in the show.
Yeah,
and they surprisingly did it pretty well because he looks pretty much the same. Although he didn't really age more. He looks pretty much the same, doesn't he? As he used to.
Hasn't really. Well, when you are bald forever,
he's one of those. Well, what happens is he's one of those actors.
Doesn't do much.
He's one of those actors that aged like quickly and then stopped. Like he's one of those guys that like Sean Connery. He did. I mean, Bruce Willis has looked the exact same for like how long now? They all aged very quickly for how old they were.
Well, I wouldn't say Bruce Willis looks old. I'd say because Picard looks old.
I'm saying he got to a point where he doesn't look like he's aged anymore. Like he's exactly the same every
no,
time.
I get that.
That's what I mean.
You can say the same thing about Keanu Reeves, but I wouldn't say he aged quickly. He just got to a point where he stopped
aging.
Like
he stopped aging. That's true. That's more of the statement. You're right. So I don't know. I'm psyched for this. Like apparently CBS.
Great. I mean, if you're a big Picard fan, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that this would have happened?
If they're going to do the talk right now is to do year-round Star Trek shows, so clearly the subscription, the viewership is
the only thing they have.
I guarantee that thing has to be so far down if they're saying let's Star Trek the shit out of this. So it's going to be year-round Star Trek on CBS All Access. So we're going to get a Picard series. We've got Discovery.
You get the nerds, the geeks, the Star Trekkies.
They got me. If they do year-round Star Trek, I mean, they've pretty much got me at that for $6 a month or wherever it is. So,
Star Trek, is it worth $6 a month to you?
I really after watching how they did when they did really good with the last series. Like it's really good. It's really good. And Jean-Luc Picard,
$70 a year.
Yeah. Because I mean, you gotta look at it this way. Like, I'll be watching that stuff, right? But it's not like there's nothing else that I want to watch there. I'll check some other stuff out that they have. They have other original content. I don't know. They have other original content. I'm sure I'll watch it. But for $6 a month, I think it is, or $5.99. I think it is. Maybe it's $4.99. Okay. So I don't know. The problem is they keep giving me discounts on it. I haven't signed up again, but they keep offering it to me for like half price. So
bad problem to have.
Yeah, well, that's because they have no subscriptions. So. This year-round Star Trek, I think they would get me. I think, I mean, there might be a few months I take off where I like let it buffer episodes, but kind of what I'm going to do for AMC's Moviepass thing. I'm just the AMC A-lister. Like, I'm going to go see. I want to really try to get to see Teen Titans, and I want to see Christopher Robin, and then I think that's it for this month, right? I think that's it. So I'm going to end the subscription at this point and take a month or two off before November, and then I'll probably re-sign up in November and hit the movies like crazy again. So, but this is what they're counting on people not doing. So they're just counting on people saying, I'll just leave it going. All right, what else we got here? Ruby Rose. Oh, that's right. Ruby Rose. I saw this today. Has been cast as Batwoman for the new CW series. She will be representing the character as a lesbian. Is Batwoman a lesbian in the comic books?
Yes.
She is, okay.
She's pretty much like, she's like Bruce Wayne's cousin, Cassandra Cain, I think. And at least in the current crap, it's like a very prominent part of her character.
Oh, I mean, that's what they're trying to represent here, and that's...
Yeah.
So they've got...
So with that in mind, I think the casting is pretty good.
Yeah, and CW is... They've been doing this with Supergirl was the first to pioneer this, actually. So they've actually been really doing well with that part of their shows. Not saying their shows are great, but for that part of the show, they've been pioneering TV for that. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm saying pioneer. I don't want to forget other networks if that's the case, but I can say that they've been really upfront about what their characters are. So, I don't know. Mike, you interested in the Batwoman series? You're the only one that watches the CW show still.
I don't know. We'll see.
No plans for a Batman to show up at all, by the way, still. However, I saw a rumor today that once Gotham ends, the rights will revert, so there's a possibility there, Mike.
We'll see.
Fox is...
There's also no plans, I guess, for CW to end any other superhero shows anytime soon as well. So, it's a possibility, I guess, in a year or two.
Yeah. This is interesting news, actually. I saw this today about Spider-Man: Far From Home adding the Shield members. So is Shield gonna like Samuel L. Jackson?
You mean those Shield members who shouldn't be a part of Shield anymore, right?
Well, yes, but if you're watching the TV show,
right?
If you're watching the TV show, yes. So I guess they're bringing back. I think Shield's gonna have a big comeback once they do Captain Marvel.
Every time after like that season 2 or 3 finale where Nick Fury handed the keys to Coulson, pretty much every time he and Hill shows up with like new shit in the movies after that, it's just like spitting on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I understand what you're saying with that. I don't know. I think I've accepted more than you have about the fact that these are just separate universes. It's not.
Well, then what's the point?
Because it's still a good show. Like, it's still a good story. Like, the characters are still. I'm attached to these characters. I want to see what happens on S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's the same idea in the movie theater. Like, I want to see what happens with these characters because I've seen. First of all, Samuel L. Jackson has been playing Nick Fury for like how many movies now? So I want to see him in this. So if that's what we have, I accept it, and it's still a good show, Mike. That's the difference.
You could see him in it without completely like negating everything that they did like a few years back on that show with them, but whatever.
I understand your argument. However,
you just need to get over it.
Yeah, that's
you need to get over
basically what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm trying to be nice about saying, like, it's not. I understand what you're saying. I get it, but it's just you got to move on.
Like, how many years has it been?
It's a good show. That's the point.
Well, then
like,
cancel the show.
No, because it's a good.
No, it doesn't
it's a good
serve its
show.
original purpose.
No,
it's a good show.
Like,
that's the point. That's the point, Mike. It's a good show. Like, that's what I'm trying to say.
Like, you constantly think that your opinion applies to like the majority of people.
Did I say that in any part of it?
No, but you act like you're like, I hate it, therefore it shouldn't exist. Okay, then.
By the way, that didn't make this list. Buffy.
The initial promise of it didn't exist.
By the way, for those
things change, Mike. Life happens. Get over it,
Mike.
Suck it up.
Ridiculous.
It was clarified.
You're ridiculous.
Wait, everybody, hold up.
You've
Stop.
been complaining about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for like 4 years now.
Yeah, I don't think the show, my opinion, and ratings-wise, a lot of people do agree it's been on the edge for 4 fucking years in a row. On the edge of cancellation for 4 years. Don't talk to me about
this is going to be his last season, guys. Just you watch. It's still around. I lived, bitch. I lived.
Because what are they called? I don't even remember. Inhumans failed so miserably, giving it second life. This thing's been on the edge for 3 years in a row. It's not that popular. The cinematic universe completely disregards it. At least they leave space for Netflix to exist on its own. They disregard it blatantly. And now, and in my opinion, this characters and story itself aren't enough unless it's tied in because it's not that interesting to me.
Wait, how many seasons of Arrow have been on?
I don't know. It's going to have 7 maybe next year.
It'll be 7. I'm just trying to look this up while we're doing this live. Yes, so it's still getting a 1.93 it scored on season 5 for one of the episodes, and the highest episode that Arrow has ever gotten is 1.28 in the last 2.5 years. It's still getting better ratings, way better ratings than...
This is ABC and CW. There's a big difference.
Different scales? I mean, I'm just saying it's a better show.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's a better show. And you're sitting here complaining, and yet you still watch those other shows.
I don't. Not regularly. Don't watch either of them regularly anymore.
Whatever. Buffy. I mentioned Buffy, Mike. Last week we were talking about it and how you don't want to see a series on new characters. Well, you're going to get new characters, but not possibly a reboot that we're talking about. We're going to get a new Slayer.
We don't know that. This is what she said. She said, oh, I understand, there's only one Buffy, only one all the characters. And then she's like, oh, it's a scary world. It's time for a new Slayer. That means nothing.
That means that they're going to... Well, if there's...
I have to say, I think that this character is going to be named Buffy, and she's going to be a vampire slayer.
Okay.
I think that's just her trying to appease the fans, but nothing has changed. Not to mention, there's not even a script for this show yet.
No, it's in production. It's production. So.
It's very fluid, but she didn't really say anything, and I think people jump to conclusions just based on that last sentence.
We'll see. I just thought that was an interesting fact.
But as usual, there has been a pretty big backlash. He didn't say anything, but I'm in the minority in every opinion I have, apparently.
There's a big backlash. I mean, that's because the voice is... For the amount of people that are going to watch this show... Okay, how am I going to word this for you? Obviously, the people who are upset are going to make the loudest voice. And the diehard fans of the show...
Call it vocal minority.
Yeah, it's...
Was it a vocal minority that did
it's like
the Battlefront complaints? Was that a vocal minority then? It's probably the same thing.
It's like, let's take a
That
5-star.
has nothing to do with this.
Let's take a.
Well, that's what you do, Tony. That's your specialty. So let's
that's
add
my
it all
specialty.
together.
Everybody
Yeah,
calm
right.
down. Everybody calm down. It's like I'm saying, Mike, it's like a 5-star hotel, right? What stands out in reviews for a 5-star hotel? The 1s and the 2s.
Okay.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like, people that
And
are
if you
happy.
have enough 5s, you don't care. You don't even address the 1s and 2s. If you have enough,
And that's what I'm saying.
but if there's enough of those, you do address them because you got to change the perception.
I'm just saying that your statement of the fact that there are more people complaining about this than that's because that's the loudest voice right now. It doesn't. They wouldn't be continuing to make this if they didn't think the audience was there to watch the rest of it.
Yeah. The other end of the spectrum is, I think that's really cool. There's a new Buffy coming out, and that's it.
Yes.
As opposed
Right.
to,
And-
how dare they? How dare
at
they?
the same time, like the people they're making this for, in a sense, are upset about it, and it's like, okay, maybe you gotta look at that, because if you just like, oh, cool, no Buffy, who are those the people you're gonna get to watch it? Probably not.
Also, those people aren't going to say anything. So
Well, that's
the
what I'm
only
saying,
people
that's
you
my point.
hear are the people who are upset. And the people who are upset, I think, are, by and large, actual Buffy fans. Because if they're not Buffy fans, they don't care, like you guys.
I
I
care.
can-
I want to see the show. I told you that already.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a Buffy fan. I don't really care. I mean, I like the Buffy the Vampire
I'm
Slayer.
gonna kill this
show.
thing in like 30 minutes here. It's been that day at work. Anyways, last bit of news we have is Disney streaming service. Who wrote this one down here? Tony?
Yeah, I think so.
So what is the deal here? What do we got? I didn't get to read this part. So they're looking at like we're gonna have a new Star Wars show. It's basically
on Favreau's.
yeah. So they're gonna
You
do
get a
original
bunch of
films, TV
movies.
shows coming to streaming service. Yeah. So basically, we're getting a whole bunch of obviously what we thought. I mean, original content coming mixed with their content.
And
their
no R-rated
library.
content.
No R-rated content. Yes, I did see that. So nothing date wise, but I do believe it will be this
Not
year.
this
so.
fall.
Also, the
I do.
Star Wars films will not be on there because they don't have the rights to those until 2024.
Yeah,
So I have a question for that. Does that mean that we can finally get the
Distant
original
future.
when Fox gives those up? Wait, didn't they buy them though? The rights to the
What?
Star Wars films?
No, they sold those last year or 2016 or something like that.
Because
So they don't have the rights to air those
I
on
thought
streaming
Disney
service.
bought those. I thought Disney bought those in that purchase with all the X-Men properties and everything like that, all the Fox properties. I thought they got the original licensing from
Yeah,
Star
they
Wars.
have to. Because who
Well,
else would
it's
own it
streaming.
at this point?
No, they Turner or something like that, TNT or some shit like that has it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, they
okay.
just bought they spent like $1 billion or something crazy to be able to air those on television.
But I'm talking about so that's fine to air them. But how about the original
Streaming.
trilogy? Like the original trilogy.
The
like-
movies.
Okay.
The Star Wars movies are not.
I'm
they
talking
can't-
about the not.
There's-
I'm talking about the not special edition.
Aren't the newest ones on?
I'm talking about the movies,
Netflix?
Jim. In movies.
Right. Aren't the newest ones on Netflix?
Yeah, no, the newest ones are. The newer one. At
Yeah,
least.
the originals aren't. He's right. They're on. They might be on TNT or AMC or whatever it is.
That's weird.
But I thought
Some cable company got
this
it. I don't
included. I
know.
thought this included the original set, not the special editions. Well, not the crappy
I don't know, there
versions
might
that
be
Lucas
some
made.
weird workaround to like, I can show you the original without all
Yeah.
this.
Right,
Greedo,
right.
Greedo hand
Turner owns it,
shooting
yeah.
first. Hand shooting
Fucking
first.
AT&T.
So, yeah. So that doesn't go back till 2024, but all right, whatever. So that's it for the news. That's all we got. Let's get into what we've been up to.
Henry Cavill also wants to play Geralt.
Yeah.
Which the show.
Yeah, I saw that, and then there's been a lot of speculation about like how good he'd be, and I'm like, this is just a guy stating that he wants to play that role. It doesn't mean he's going to have that role.
Right, but I would think it would be pretty interesting. Did you already talk about Batwoman?
We did, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. I think it's funny that she's playing her, but I just imagine a terrible red wig like they always do. Like every redheaded actress,
You're
non-redheaded
imagining.
actress.
You're imagining what's her name, Mira in Aquaman.
Not even that. Like just remember the fuck we just talked about the Inhuman show. That terrible wig on that lady.
Well,
Yeah.
I
And, like
think
even Jean Grey's like in X-Men's like Phoenix stuff.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
why the terrible red wigs all the time?
I think the character actually wears a red wig. She has like short hair normally, and then when she's Batwoman, she has a red
Just
wig.
on the red. Yeah.
Although I think her hair is still red, but it's short normally. So we'll see what they do with that. Maybe they'll just keep her hair normal and have a red wig for that. That would be a logical, measured way to go about it, but I doubt they will.
No, they'll give her a red
Alright.
wig.
What have we been up to, Jim?
So what have I been up to? I'll kick us off with Mission Impossible Fallout.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah, I got to see it.
You got a real man in that, so.
Yeah, we got Ethan Hunt. I have to say that this is a really fun movie. Like this movie needed to be, I think, out earlier because it's more of a summer popcorn flick. It's still summer, but it's like it would have. I think it's
we always talk about how August is like a barren wasteland, and now it's like this would be a great time for a movie.
Yeah, but not this movie. I think it would be better early June. I think this is a better movie in early June. It's a fun popcorn flick. Like it is like the action is so over the top.
There's way too much competition in June, though.
Well, I'm saying that the good stuff should move itself around. Is what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying this is going to be. This is not going to win awards. It's not like the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it's a fun movie.
It's what James Bond should have been.
Well, I think James Bond has a different tone than Mission Impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's like what DC's doing to their movies. Like, oh, let's just make everything dark and dank and dreary when this should have been fun and more a lighter tone.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely. All I know is Ethan Hunt is quite indestructible. Henry Cavill has no purpose having a mustache in this movie. So
amazing.
The entire I think I may have been distracted by that more because I'm like I know that's the reason. That's one of the major reasons that Justice League was god awful was the fact that he just looked terrible. I think because I didn't think the story was terrible. I'm sorry, I didn't think it was terrible. I just think that he looked so bad. It was bad.
There's only a few scenes where they had to digitize it out.
I mean,
it was all of his scenes.
I don't think so.
It was only the reshoots. So.
And that was all of his scenes.
No. Okay. I mean, the Flash scene was not when the sequence when he wakes up is not a reshoot.
I thought that was actually. I thought they digitally took that out. We had to look that up.
See, like
I thought
this
that
got
was
in your head, I think, a little bit, and like maybe attributed. Oh, this looks awful to scenes where it didn't even happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna look this up. But anyways,
now you're just criticizing his upper lip at this point.
I was but his character had no purpose having this in that movie. Anyways, I'm like they could have easily.
Well,
sure.
To be fair, the probable reason is so it doesn't look like he's Superman. That could be it.
Oh, maybe that could have been it too.
Yeah,
that could have been it. But. So his character in this is very
beards
good.
and mustaches are the
they don't
thing now. Like everybody
they don't care. Like if he looks like Superman, I would think Warner Brothers would be more concerned if Superman was running around and killing people and stuff like that. Right.
Well, there's a whole Injustice comic about that, and games. Actually, that's one of the best uses of Superman in the recent memory.
Anyways, let me see. I'm trying to look this up while we talk, but I'm not going to do it. Never mind. So, I have to say that his character in this movie was actually really good. I really enjoyed his character. It was unbelievable how small Tom Cruise is. Like, how they try to hide that in the other movies? Like, they really do.
Oh yeah, he's short.
But they didn't hide that in this movie. They couldn't with Henry Cavill. He dwarfed him so badly. Like he's trying to talk to him, and he's just like looking up and pointing at him, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean. Like they even do it like Robert Downey Jr. Like when they're shooting, they wear literally like these shoes that are basically high heels.
Yeah,
like just to add extra height on them.
Platforms, stand on this platform for me. They're shoes, but really they're just like ladders for you to be.
There was
not so small.
And I think
especially
they did
with like Hugh Jackman, like they had to do that a bunch with him, and
yes.
because he's so big and Cyclops is so small, whatever they got. James Mars.
I get that they were trying to get comic book, accurate. But like with Tom Cruise, I know they usually do give him lifts when he's on movies. But he's so. I mean, not even just like his. Height,
he's only like 5'7" or something.
But not even
like
just
that.
his height.
I
like he's so
don't even
tiny.
think he's that short. I think he's like 5'8" in reality, but
5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, it's just also his size. He's so tiny.
He's not a buff guy. Like
I can't when they're like there's like obviously many fight sequences in this movie, and I'm just like I can't see him doing this to this guy. I just can't see it. Like they're both trained killers, so it's just like weird. It's just
so size shouldn't matter, Jim. Now you're being like a sizist.
It's just not.
Heightist.
Yes, but I'm short.
That's why
I'm short, so I can do that.
Wolverine next.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I thought the movie was a lot of fun.
See, Jim, no, you fell for the sizeism. You're not short, Jim. You're like average height.
Yeah,
Well,
I
how
know,
tall are you?
but my friend, I'm like 5'8"ish, 9"ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's average.
On a good day, I'm 5'9".
Well, gravity isn't like having a good day.
It's
my God,
5'8" 3/4" for those wondering. But yeah, so I'm only a little bit taller than Tom Cruise, but I'm taller than somebody. No, but like a lot of my friends are like over 6 foot. Like not you guys, but like the guys like.
See, we're all
Wow! Just throw us under that bus, Jim.
But
It's easy to throw us under the bus.
it's funny, no, because I used to work at this warehouse, and like all the guys there were like over 6 foot, and they're like, "You are so short." I'm like,
I mean,
I'm average
obviously,
height.
to Jim, size matters. So
It's not how. Yeah. So
That's why he went for the
Big
big
D.
D.
yeah, I had to go for that big D experience. Anyways, it's a fun movie where you have to make sure you remember to turn your brain off though, because you're like, that can't happen. That physically can't happen.
I have to give Tom Cruise a lot of credit though, because he does so many of his own stunts and stuff like that, and he like broke his
Well, that's what
ankle doing that one sequence.
Well, that's what happened is during the movie, because he does his own stunts and they're trying to, it looks like they try to go from like action sequence straight into it. They can't hide his height.
Yeah.
So it's like you see how
It
big
never
Cavill
really
is.
bothered me that much, but
No, but when you're up against a guy like, and he's just that
Cavill,
big.
yeah.
And I don't consider Cavill that big because you put him up against like other people and you're like, he's not
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not that big, but
I mean, they're big though. They are big.
Those are
Cavill-
big guys.
Cavill is
If
pretty
you
big.
stand next to Cavill and Hugh Jackman, you're gonna look small
yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, that's what happened. Yeah. So, but it was fun. It was a really good movie. I recommend it for anybody who's seen the other movies. And I don't think it's a good starting point though, because there's a lot of references to the older movies. So
I guess I'll watch this.
yeah, that's. I mean,
Start at
good.
3.
I'm happy I made that statement. And I don't
Start
want to
the
make
JJ
too many.
one?
Yeah,
It's like the
You can-
JJ did and then like Brad Bird did one, I think, and then
you can
these-
skip 1 and 2 with this easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's like they're totally different movies.
Yeah, it really starts with 3. I mean, they really reference the hell out of those movies on.
3 was really good, and then like going from there, it's
Yeah.
this series really found its groove. It's similar to like Fast and
Fast and
Furious.
Furious,
Yeah.
Yep.
Is 3 the one? Is 3 the one with the sandstorm?
Sandstorm.
Yes.
It's the one with Kerry Russell in it.
Wait, which one's the Philip Seymour Hoffman? Isn't that 3? Or is it 2? Or is that
I
4?
really-
That's later.
That was
I
like
don't
my
know,
favorite,
man.
but
It all
um,
blurs together for me. These
so
movies, to
I
be
don't know. But
honest.
anyways, it's a good movie. That's all I've really seen. Mike.
I saw an episode or 2 of Luke Cage season 2.
Oh, I did watch episode 1 of that.
It maybe like this. I'm a 5th-ish episode. It looks like stuff is finally going to start happening.
Okay.
A lot of nothing has happened in the first few episodes.
Well, I think they're establishing he's just trying to like be that vigilante taking over the city.
in the first 2 or 3 episodes, they established that he's like an asshole,
well,
which is
Okay.
not, which is not what he was before.
No.
It's just part of my issue with what they did early on. But now, like, things are finally like getting to a point where I can see an actual plot starting for the whole season. So I'm looking forward to it a little bit now to keep going, but it's still not so great. I'm kind of down on it so far, but we'll see.
Well, we
if
will
it
get
makes a
Daredevil
comeback.
by the end
Yes.
of the year.
we're
Yeah,
getting
which is
Iron
surprising.
Fist. They're getting 4. That's 4 this season. That's 4 this year. I mean,
Jessica
4.
Cheese,
Yeah.
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Let's hope
So,
any of them are good, because so far, so not so great.
yeah, we'll see. Anything else? That's it.
That's it.
All right, Tony.
Let's see. I watched Incredibles 2.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, I got to see that the other night. Which is good. It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yes.
But I got to say, maybe you said this, Jim. I forget if you did, but like, it just felt after all these years of waiting, I kind of expected something different. You know, like in terms of what the plot called for
Yeah.
and what it was about.
I don't know if I said that, but like there was I think it was more about like again, it goes back to the villain in my opinion, but
I mean, yeah, like a strong villain is good, but it just felt like for 14 years?
yeah.
I didn't see the reason why this took
Did you-
14 years.
Yeah.
Corey,
I mean-
did you see this or no?
No, but like at the same time, like what did you expect though? Like what would 14 years? What would it? What else are they gonna do?
I
They're gonna
would
follow
have expected
exactly.
like a time gap.
No,
They
they didn't do
time
that.
jump.
Yeah,
I really
they,
would've.
they didn't want to
right
do that.
after
Yeah.
the first one.
Yep.
So, and
Well,
because
no,
it's
I meant
animated,
like
they
a
could.
significant one,
Yeah.
like maybe
A year or
Violet's
two or
in,
something.
yeah, maybe Violet's in college now.
No, I could see Jack is bigger, but I could see, I don't know.
I think they felt they had a great opportunity with the show to pick up right after they left off with like Jack and the kids being the age.
Yeah,
they
no,
were.
I agree, and
I just don't know why I don't know why it took 14 years.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if this took like 5, 6, even 7 years, I'd be like, okay, great. But like it took 14, and just
Yeah.
it's weird. I mean, like I said, it's still good.
It's weird for me. Like I think it's probably great film stands on its own. Like if you took it out of the whole 14-year gap thing, it's just weird that they had sequels for all these other films.
Right.
That's what's weird. Like
Yeah,
you had
right,
Cars 3 at 1 and 3 at 2 and 3. You had like these other films that got sequels that don't necessarily seem to need them so much. Where more they're just for marketing and like give me the toys so I can sell those toys. But now, I mean, with the popularity of superheroes, it seemed like it was an easy no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
All right, Corey.
Not much at all, really. I think I just watched some anime and I just put on the background that I've already seen, like Sword Art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to continue. Actually, yeah, it gets that bad. I'm sorry, Tony. It gets that bad. Like I haven't seen it since it was good. Like Sword Art, I stopped watching it. Like when
I stopped watching after that first season.
Okay.
Well, you do the first. Well, the thing is, you do the MMO part, and then when it gets to the elfin part, you just stop watching it, and then you do the shooter part, and then when it goes back to the elf part, you stop watching. I've not seen any elf things. I just know they go to the elf world, and that's it. But
I don't know why they keep going back to the fucking.
But the other part of it's so good though. Like
yes,
was the shooter part good? I didn't.
The shooter one's really cool because it's like a first-person shooter, but like now he's he's in the first-person shooter game instead of an MMO.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. I thought it was really neat. It's like a tournament style, like almost like a battle royale type of thing.
Interesting.
All right. So I think that's all for what we've been up to. So let's move on to our
do this.
pick.
Bond
versus
Bourne,
now. Is this like who would win in a fight,
Fair.
or is this who's a better character?
Battlestar.
Better character, or who would win in a fight?
I think it's both.
Okay. Actually, I would probably say it either way on this one. And I'm a huge Bond fan, but I just love the Jason Bourne character himself. Like, I really love that character. I think that, I don't know, I just...
So, like, let me ask you just right off the bat here, Jim. If one of these ceased to exist going forward, which one would you want to continue seeing? Because for me, it's an easy question. I care less about Bond.
Really?
He's had his time.
But, like, Jason Bourne...
He's a relic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The last Jason Bourne movie you hated.
I hated the last 3, I think. The last 2.
No, last Jason Bourne.
Well, yeah, I didn't like Jason. I didn't like the Newborn movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like the same idea. Like, you hated that movie, too.
No, I know, but at the same time...
Bourne's a relic, too. He's past his prime. It's over.
That's what I'm saying. So they're kind of both there. I don't know.
Yeah, at the same time, exactly. They're both...
Except Bond has a mechanic to rejuvenate himself every decade or so, while Jason Bourne does not.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
true. Bourne
Matt Damon is Bourne so far.
Matt Damon is Bourne, so you kind of can't separate the two as easily.
Like, I mean,
but
obviously...
at the same time, I would not care to see any more Bond movies.
But obviously, like, in a fight, I would take Jason Bourne in a second. Just against those two. Just, there's no chance.
What, Daniel Craig's Bond?
Any James Bond.
Daniel Craig's Bond is the same thing as Jason Bourne, and that's why
Mike's argument,
Bond movies are worse, because they're like, oh, this is a new way that, oh, we need this fast, incomprehensible fight scenes like Jason Bourne does. Let's do that and make our guy look real, vicious and fierce and serious, have him fumble with passports and drawers really quickly. That's what Jason Bourne does. And everything that's bad about Bond lately is because it copied Jason Bourne. Now
it's trying to not be Bond is what it's probably.
Well, yeah, it can still go back. And
keep going, guys. I'll be right back.
And that's why, for me, I choose Jason. I don't choose Jason Bourne. I choose Bond because it has all this history and it has way more better portrayals of a fun spy.
There's definitely a lot
Jason
more. To look back on and say like, hey, maybe this could be better. But at the same time, for me, there is all that, so I don't necessarily need new stuff for Bond. And with the direction that these studios have gone with Bond, it just makes it just so bad. It's like dark and like dreary.
Well, you just know it won't be forever, and it'll have its own sort of correction, like they overcorrected last time.
We'll see. Well, the pendulum's gonna swing way the other direction. I think is the problem.
We'll see.
Not with Craig. The next one, whoever the next guy is.
We'll see.
So.
But to me, like,
to me, James Bond just doesn't stand for anything for me. Just okay, it's a thing. I understand it's
James Bond is the reason why we got Solid Snake. It's the reason why we have like all spy characters like since the 60s. Like he made this spy character a thing, and everyone else is just a copy of him after the 60s. Pretty much.
No, I could see that being true. And as far as like the spy character being like popularized by this character, but just because the character is popularized, or the spy is popularized by a character, doesn't mean somebody else can't come and do it better.
Well, that's true, but once or twice maybe. But over the course of 50 years, the good Bond movies outweigh, I think, any good that Jason Bourne or any other imitator has ever done.
Yeah, well, there's like 30 Bond movies.
Yeah. So.
I mean, there's definitely way more history and way more material out there for Bond than
it's definitive. When you see a good Bond movie, you're like, oh, this is like the definitive like spy thriller type stuff. It's not, you don't think like, oh, it's like, oh, this other character is being his Q, or this other character is like, oh, that guy is just like Moneypenny, or you don't think that, because the Bond series to me has the definitive spy movie beats and themes, and of course that's been subverted a bit too by the later Bond movies. But to me, I think if you're going to do a spy movie and it's going to be good, it's done best with a good Bond movie.
But I mean, I appreciate all the Bonds. And I'm saying that Daniel Craig has gotten very long in the tooth, but I did appreciate his Bond for the first, 3 movies. I didn't mind the second movie. You hated it, and I didn't mind Skyfall.
A lot of people like Skyfall. I did not like it. Then what was the newest one called?
I don't know.
Shoot, Spectre. Which I didn't like Spectre at all.
God.
Spectre was
to me, Skyfall was the most tolerable.
But this isn't Bond versus Bond here. It's Bond versus Bourne.
I know.
We could have done a Bond versus Bond. That would have been great.
So how many of there's been like 4 or 5 Bourne movies. How many of them would you say are like good? 2, 3?
I'd say the first 3 were decent enough, and then this Legacy one was shit, and then the latest one was shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the first 3 movies I liked a lot.
The problem with the third one and the second one, they're very similar. I didn't like.
Well, they happen almost? They overlap. They actually overlap, those 2 movies, don't they? Or is that the? Yeah.
I mean, again, the first one was still that one's a fantastic film. The second one was good. I thought that they did a great job of extending the character and making him seem like a franchisable character. But then third one, I felt he kind of just was doing the same thing. Like, why is this guy? Can this guy not be on the run all the time? Like, what's going on here?
That's the idea. No, you can't be. Maybe you have to
be on the run.
That's
what I mean. Like, that's his shtick. So
just a bunch of people in control rooms. Is that Jason Bourne? Where's Jason Bourne? Jason Bourne.
Yes, that's most of the movies. So yeah, I don't know. Character-wise, I liked.
I mean, if you're gonna do reductionist, I mean, James Bond is just be a little quippy with Q, like go bang some like model for no reason, who winds up dying half the time anyway, like kills the villain. It's like, okay, cool.
Well, she's always like usually he bangs the villain first, and then
that's true too. Yeah.
Yes. Play. What game do they play?
Baccarat.
I was gonna say Sabacc, but I think that's Star Wars. I don't know. I think if you take the 2 characters, I think as a whole, I prefer watching a James Bond movie. I'm not saying that's Daniel Craig related, but I would rather see a James Bond movie now that I think about it. So, just because, like you said, if you think about it, I really love the Jason Bourne movies. But when you think about it, the last 2 and 3 were very similar, and then the last movie with, actually Jason Bourne in Jason Bourne wasn't great. So it's like, I think that character-wise, there's. And maybe the style they do it, they reboot the Bonds. They always cast a new Bond that might keep it fresh.
Yeah, but it's easier to reboot the Bond franchise than it would be to do the Bourne, because they tried it with Legacy and it just doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, you got to think about what they did with Bond doing that years ago. I mean, can you continue on? They established that early, and that's what happened. The fourth movie, what's the fourth movie? I think they replaced. Oh no, it was fifth. Fifth movie was.
it was
Sean
a
Connery.
while.
So where's the
after.
continuity with Bond anyway?
There's none. It's all based on like.
No.
There was
The Craig ones are really the only ones that tried to make it.
No. They tried it in the first 4 Bond movies with Sean Connery, and it seemed to like they wanted to do an underlying villain, an overall, and they just stopped it. They didn't. That was it. I think they realized it wasn't working. They stopped, and they never mentioned it
Within
again.
the same actor, they normally continue a continuity. After that, it's sort of like up to interpretation what you want to count, which is its own thing.
So it's like a reboot every time that they cast a new actor?
Yes, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, that's how you
It
do
still comes
something.
out all right. It's weird.
Not always.
Was there a lot of outrage like the first time they recast Bond?
I wonder
Probably.
what it was.
Like
there
were people on the
probably was.
internet,
Probably
and Reddit,
was.
just like,
There probably was.
there's only one James Bond.
Yeah, those people in 1970 read it.
But
Were like-
arguably, Sean Connery is the greatest Bond.
I feel like
arguably
that's a
Roger
little
Moore.
primacy.
And
Yeah,
then
I don't like Roger Moore at all.
Yeah. No, he's-
Roger- I think Roger Moore is the worst.
Timothy Dalton. No, Timothy
I
Dalton's
like Timothy
very
Dalton's
bad.
movies. I thought Timothy Dalton was good.
I don't
Those
know.
two
I mean,
movies.
I haven't seen a classic Bond in probably 5 years, but I don't think they hold up very well. Just like
I watched.
the
No,
last one.
you watch the
I don't know.
classics. You watch the first 4 with Sean Connery. I like them. I think they hold up fine.
They
other-
they have the same problems that every movie from the 60s does. There's certain like cheesy action sequences and like
certain
stiff.
stereotypes as well that get played
times
out.
stereotypes at the time.
Like, didn't
but-
even Family Guy make that like whole joke where it's like, no, we're gonna have sex. No, we're gonna have sex. No, and it's like, remember, kids, 49 no's and a yes. It's like yes. like,
that is the joke.
Little rapey there.
Yes, that is the
Just a
joke.
little bit.
But yeah, I think that those still work. I watched those more recently, more like when Skyfall was coming out. I watched those, so that's why like when I watched Skyfall, it felt to me like an older Bond movie because I had just freshly watched those original 4. That's why I made that statement on our podcast years ago for that. So
From Russia with Love is considered one of the better like films overall ever. I'm not sure why they chose that one out of them all. I'd have to watch it again, but
honestly, like the Bond movie for me when I got into it was GoldenEye. That was when I got into
that's
Bond. Yeah.
among my favorite movies of all time.
But I still will say, Mike, that Sean Connery was a better Bond. So that's my
Sean
thing.
Connery, that's because he's the first.
It's
hard to break that.
Yeah.
Though. It's hard to break that because like
now we're on
this is
now we're on a
first,
completely
but-
different topic here.
I know, but to me, just the quantity and quality all considered and what they mean, and still, I think there's more room in the future for good Bonds going forward. That's why I choose
definitely.
Bond.
Yeah, I choose Bond. So, what do you guys choose?
No, I'll choose Bourne.
You don't have to do that. You could end with Bond as well. I mean,
No, I mean, like I said in the beginning.
If they were to
like,
announce tomorrow that, hey, there's not going to be any more James Bond, I would not care at all. I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay.
but it's the same idea for Bourne.
I wouldn't
You.
be sad.
You're not invested
like
in
I
either
said,
of these
said in the
characters.
beginning of this podcast, that I feel like Mission Impossible has done these movies so much better on such a much more
So
enjoyable
your
level
answer
than
between
either.
Bond and Bourne is Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I take
I'll
Ethan
give,
Hunt over
that's
all these
acceptable.
guys.
That's acceptable. That's an acceptable
Is
answer.
it acceptable?
I'll take it as an answer because I know he really likes those.
Problem is, same thing with Ethan Hunt is he's so tied to Tom Cruise
Tom
now.
Cruise,
He can't
yeah.
really-
Yeah, but Tom Cruise is another guy who doesn't age now. He got to a certain age and he stopped.
Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
all that Scientology magic.
He's the
and a
reincarnation
lot
of
of
L.
hair
Ron Hubbard.
guy.
Huh?
And a lot of hair guy.
Yes. So Tony, you want to take a side on this? You have nothing you have nothing invested
Yeah, I
in
really
either
don't
of
care,
these.
but like at least with like Matt Damon's Bourne, because the Jerry Renner one is such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that. Like I think there's more there's more dynamic to that character than James Bond, where it's like,
I feel like the
I just-
mysteries and like the little like cool moments as far as like technologies goes and like what he does is just more interesting. Like Bond's just, he doesn't
Right,
have
so-
that, and Craig is just not that Matt Damon's any better, but I just don't find Craig as a good actor.
Yeah. I mean,
Well-
I don't know, but
didn't they kind of stray away from all like the gimmicky stuff with Bond, like the gadgets and whatnot.
They used to, and then they went back to it
They're
when they
kind of working it back in.
like dumb ways.
Yeah,
so-
like, a lot of it doesn't matter.
But yeah, so all right. So just for the final
All
tally,
right,
for those wondering, final tally: 2 votes for Bond, a Bourne, and an Ethan Hunt
There we go.
in Bond versus Bourne. I think that's it. So that's going to wrap up this episode of the Moviecast. Thanks for tuning in. Write us podcast at allycangeek.net. Let us know what you think. Write us on Twitter as well, on Facebook.
Yeah,
as
let us
well.
know if you have any verses that you guys want to hear us debate over. 'Cause that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Get some suggestions.
Yep, we got a versus coming up in the Gamecast. Tune into that. Tune into.
Oh, hold on, real quick. If we're gonna throw that into the mix, I would actually say if we're gonna allow Corey to do that, I'm gonna just throw John Wick out there.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I mean,
Okay, so-
John Wick's gonna trump them all.
There we go. Oh man, you know what?
But he's not a spy. He's just like
Yeah,
Not at all.
Yeah, he's not. Different. He's an action hero.
Are any of them really spies these days? Like they're more assassins than spies, I would say. Like when was the last time like they did
the
spy
part
stuff?
of these characters are their spies. It's like that's where they're origins
They're supposed to
from,
be
really.
spies.
Yeah, but what's the difference these days between a spy and assassin? Like really, like what does John Wick not do that would classify him as a spy?
Does he go
He's an
overseas ever?
assassin.
I
He
don't
does go
know,
overseas.
Mike. Yeah, he does.
He does.
Okay.
All right. So now for the final tally, then to wrap this up, wrap it up again. It's Bond, John Wick, and Ethan Hunt.
Sure.
Nobody took a Bourne.
Bourne
I mean,
just
if we're
got
gonna get
pushed out.
characters, like if we're gonna throw like a mega battle in there, like then yeah, we'll have to do that one day instead.
Yes,
and
that
just
might be what we
rank
do.
action heroes because there's
Yeah.
there's got a lot of good action heroes.
But then you're getting into another pool, a completely new pool. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Then you can get. I mean, yeah. So all right. Then you get into Arnold and
It's a rabbit hole.
Sylvester
dude. It's a rabbit
Stallone.
hole.
Sorry. Yes.
Dig
Now we're
yourself
moving down.
out.
All right. Get out of here. We're done. This is the end of the episode. Tune into the
So-
Gamecast. Done.